And welcome. I am back. It is the Skeinz Diaries. You're with Maree, and it is the 13th of July. Yes, I know I've had a week away. I went out to the Mount and I even did some knitting. I know, stop it. But I'm going to tell you about that next week because we got all of this locked and loaded before I went away because she went away at exactly the same time. So we've just been catching up on our respective weeks away. And that, of course, is the lovely Libby from Truly Myrtle. Good morning.
Hey, how are you? It is so nice to be here.
Oh, it is so. It's been. We were talking about. It's been ages. We haven't
I
done
know.
this
I feel like it's been
since we
ages.
launched the yarn.
Look, I think it's been a year. Has it been like a year before
I
I,
don't know.
I don't even know if I've been on your podcast in the last year. I should
Yeah,
come back.
it was when we launched the yarn a year ago. I mean, where's that gone?
I know. Well, I don't know. And then we've all just been away. So I feel like I've been absent from the internet anyway for about a week or more. So it's so nice to be back and it's so nice to be here. It's really good.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this spin down for such a long time because I mean, it's winter, yarn Christmas, as we know.
Yeah.
And the hard part is because, of course, we've both had these colors in our hot little hands now for about several weeks.
Yeah.
And you have been teasing your people. I have been very good. Good morning. Gosh, everyone's piling on in this morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. And it's been so hard because
You've been mum and
I
I've been
know,
having to get out
totally.
there.
And I've even had people come into the store saying, so have you seen the new colors? And I'm like, I can't really tell you that they're sitting on my desk right next to my pet, I know, it's crazy. And we love them, like, especially when they first came out. And I'm going to hold them all up and then I want you to explain the names for me.
Okay.
So there they all are there.
Aren't they lovely? It's nice seeing them. I just did exactly the same thing on my podcast. They're even sitting here on the ironing board next to me, the four of them.
Oh, so good. And especially, look, I have to say, I mean, I love all of them. My favorite is Happiness, though.
Yeah, I love Happiness.
I love when Happiness came out. It was so funny. We did the lab dips for this months and months ago, and I remember sending them to you. And I said, "Okay, I know what I like," and we both liked exactly the same thing. And I was exceptionally excited by this. And I'm excited by it because I've got all the other yarns sitting here. And if you're looking at this thinking for 4 colors, I'm going to hold these up again because you'll be what? And you're thinking these seem slightly discordant. Why have you done these 4 colors? It's because these 4 colors are designed to lock into the rest of the range.
Yeah, exactly. And they do beautifully. They
do. So I'm going to jump down on here.
You can see. So there's the other
there you
ones
go.
behind me on the thing. I should have brought them out, but together it all forms this really rich palette now. And some are pops and some are they look so good together. So I think that's one of the things that we've heard a lot over the last year, Maree, is how well these ones already work together and people are just grabbing different ones. And I was being, delighted to see all these lovely combinations. And so now we just have 4 more to throw in there. But
Yvonne's saying the colors look so different on both screens. Yeah, they do. And our different cameras too.
Yeah.
And I know my blues tend to sort of well, actually that's the
yours
wrong
is
blue.
darker. Yeah,
Somewhere.
Somewhere in between those, I think, slightly. Probably,
And I've got all of them sitting in front of me here. And so firstly, let's run through the names because I know each little name has a wee story. So let's talk about that first. So Happiness first, because obviously Happy's happy.
Well, this time, because last time I was just saying on my podcast, last time I named everything after like my people and my family, this kind of generational traits that have come through. And so there were names that were about people. So one of the ones I was just looking at this morning was this one, which was Liberty, which is the one I'm wearing. And that was named after my grandfather, who had these lovely grey blue eyes, and he fought in World War II, and he was like a silver fox, my grandfather. He was a good-looking guy. And he used to call me Liberty, and because I was Libby. And so he got Liberty. So those all, I could track them back to a particular person. And this time, I thought I just wanted to sort of get hold of some of the things that I love, some of the ideas that I love and things that I try and, keep close to me. Sounds a bit waffly, doesn't it? But these are things I do love. So I've got bliss and clarity and happiness and trust.
Trust, yeah.
And those are all things that I just think, yeah, those are good traits. Those are good things to hold on to.
And that combo there, that trust bliss combo, isn't that just and you throw that up with Liberty, it is such, there are just so many now. I've been sitting here while we, and see, even actually this, this is the other, the Scholar. Scholar now with these colors now makes so much more sense.
It's absolutely stunning, that one.
Yeah.
My mum's actually just knitted a jersey for my son in the Scholar, which one of my daughters has pinched, actually, because he ended up needing a bit more room in the shoulders than she gave him room for. But this looks beautiful. That color is just beautiful. But with those, I agree. Absolutely stunning together.
So all of these are now available at trulymyrtle.com and skeinz.com, both in both weights, DK and sport weight. We've got all of them. Now, the other thing is of course, you're wearing Wayfarer for a very, very good reason.
Yeah, so Wayfarer is out today as well. So there are a couple, that I have Wardrobe Toolbox, and I release patterns in Wardrobe Toolbox, and then they sit there and they're enjoyed by all the Wardrobe Toolboxes for about a year before everybody else gets their hands on them. And so I have 2 patterns that have come out today. It's a little bit overwhelming, all of this new stuff today. 4 yarns and 2 patterns. But one of them is Wave Crest, which I'm wearing, and she's kind of
Wayfarer. That's Wayfarer, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I always do that. There's too many children. There's too many children. I'm calling the children by the wrong names. But this one is Wayfarer, and she's a top-down, set-in sleeve. You zoom down with some nice cables and twisted stitches, and then you do your short row sleeves. She's a very satisfying knit because it's so much fun to do these shoulders. But she also comes with long sleeves for everyone that's a bit nervous that you just have to have a short sleeve jumper. It's perfect today in Auckland, but she also comes with long sleeves, and she's in the DK.
And do you know what I love about that Wayfarer? If you just sit back a little bit, you know what I love about that? Is that if you're someone like me who requires a little bit more room, through the a little bit more, not quite so much here, but definitely the way that that's designed, it's really, really easy to pop in on the other side of that cable. Just throw in some increases there to give you a nice little A-line, just to give you a little bit more, wiggle room.
Absolutely. And so you can make her a little bit longer and give her a bit of swing. She'd be just gorgeous like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, easy enough to do them at the side. You could do extra ones here and the same at the back. It doesn't have a pattern on the back. The back is plain. So you can just bash down the back straight, and then you just have these fun little cables at the front. But she's beautifully, easily modified, because the other nice thing that I thought about was people that want to do a bust dart here, if they want to throw in a horizontal dart, it's not going to interfere with this line. So you can just throw a horizontal dart in without worrying about getting too close to the middle and having to work out what to do with the cables.
See, where's Tamsin when we need her?
Where's Tamsin?
Where's Tamsin? I know. So Tamsin's one of our she's one of my can angels, actually. And she is the queen of the horizontal bust dart.
She is.
I think she can do those things in her sleep. So
I think so. I pulled her into my class last year and it's like, right, here is Tamsin. This is the bust dart. Watch how it goes. Yeah, she's brilliant. But I really want to knit myself another one. And people in my chat this morning were saying, I've knitted 2, one with short sleeves, one with long sleeves. I want a long sleeve one in this color, in the Trust. So I just think that'll be just beautiful. One of those classic knits that you can just wear forever. Classic cables, nice little, set in sleeve style, and nice long sleeves. Oh, it should be just fabulous, I think, with so many things. So
absolutely.
That's one I want.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Yeah, there is more. Oh, yes, because the other garment that's come out today is another one from Wardrobe Toolbox, and it is Embers. So this one I didn't use originally. Truly Myrtle yarn. I can see your question, Heather. I'll come back to you in a second. I didn't use Truly Myrtle yarn. I used a lovely yarn from Wild Earth, and this garment is Embers. She's knitted in the round, and then she's steeped up the middle. And we did a whole thing about that in Wardrobe Toolbox about how to cut her and how to reinforce the inside, and it was quite fun for people to have a bash at that as I held their hand to do it. But this one uses 4 colors, and I actually took a photo yesterday. I think I sent it to you, didn't I, Maree?
You did, and but you only sent it to me with 3 colors. But you did
4.
send it to me with 4 colors. No, you did.
Yeah,
and it was
those were 2 of them.
Yes,
and Courage, and I forgot
Liberty. I think
Liberty, right? Liberty. Yeah. So you could, so you can just really play with this, but you don't have to stick with how I did the colors. I give you a coloring in page in this pattern, so you can actually, go at it with your own ideas, and you could arrange.
And you've gone with a strong colour too as your main colour, but you don't have to do that. Like, I mean, because the floozy too, you sent me a picture of that, which used oatmeal. Yeah, there it is. With the oatmeal, well, you could still, I mean, you could do your embers like that with a neutral, but then have this incredible pop of colour across the yolk.
Yeah. And if you didn't want to go oatmeal and you still wanted just a little bit of colour, something like that light grace would be a really nice option as well. Just that cool pink, soft pink, would be a really nice base colour to put other colours on top of. Yeah. So, I mean, she's fabulous with Hope, but you could, I think also this Bliss is going to be one I think that's going to pop up a lot with that one. And also I think the blue on Grace will just be the clarity.
That would work.
Just, yes. It's really bad, isn't it? Because now there's too many things that I need to knit. I mean, how do we even, I can't, there's not enough time for all the knitting I need to do. Heather, I'll just say quickly about the bust darts. What we do is if you want to do a horizontal bust dart, knit to the point where your bust apex starts, which is usually around about 2 inches below your armpit, roundabout. And then that's where you pop them in here. And then you can work back and forth and you actually create a wedge of knitting so that it's wider through the middle if you wanted to do the horizontal bust start. But vertical bust starts, you'll start a little bit lower. Too many projects, never enough time. Yeah, Karen's right, on the money.
Yeah. Well, I just showed Libby, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to completely show, but I have finished the jumper, which I'm going to talk about next week, which is I've been working on, and they'll tell you months. In fact, I think I was working on that when I came up to see you. It's been.
I think you were, yeah.
Yeah, it's just again not enough time. I won't have a can project. I'm not going to get something finished between now and again, but I'm not short of anything, so I'm going to be good.
I better have some. Oh, hadn't I? Okay.
But I have got so I put my oatmeal on today.
Oh yes.
So before winter, what I did do is I hadn't washed this for a few years, and this is knitted. This was the first one I knitted. I knitted it as to pattern with the yarn in the pattern, which is, of course, we now no longer make. Oh, but it was really, I gave it a really, really quite vigorous depilling, like shaving. Yeah. And what a difference it's made. And it's in this, I mean, oatmeal, if you're just wanting something really basic, this in a decane oatmeal is so good. It is so good.
It'd be great. When we were away, my daughter took a couple of my, because I've made the part of this one. I was showing everyone this morning. I went on holiday, forgot to take enough yarn to finish my daughter's jumper. So this is the Clarity and the Bliss and Liberty. And so before we left, I said, there's no way that jumper is going to be finished. Hopefully I'll finish it while we're away. Turned out I couldn't because I forgot to take yarn. But she ended up wearing my Ginger Snap. And Ginger Snap is one that it's another set-in sleeve, just one of those classic knits. And that is in the Hope. I did it in Hope DK, in the DK, which is the red labels, and the Hope. But really, I've seen Ginger Snaps in Joy and in that's the Hope. See, you can see it's different to the other one. This is other thing. This is much more rusty brick.
This is brick. This is brick. This is like a fine wine, a deep red wine, and this is more bricky.
Yeah. So I think doing Ginger Snap you can do in all manner of colours. Should look absolutely fantastic. Oh, yes, those are lovely together too, aren't they?
I've just noticed that.
Grace and Trust. Yeah.
Grace and Trust. Anyway, sorry.
But yes, as she wore the Ginger Snap, I depilled it recently, so it just came up just beautifully. It looked fresh, absolutely fresh, and she looked really, really good.
So Rachel's just asked, what depilling thingy do you recommend? Now, I've done both Sweater Stone and I've got a battery operated, and we've also got the fabric shavers that we sell here, which are electric. I did this one on the fabric shaver. I took it home, and I'm just going to show you because that's the inside, which you can sort of see is quite fuzz. And it's almost like slightly felted due to the wear. But by giving it the electric shaver treatment, it's gone and taken that little, and it's brought that back. What do you tend to
I'm
do?
electric shaver preference too. Yeah. But if I've got a garment that wants to be woolly, that is a woolly garment, then I'll use a stone on that one. And so
something with possum, or even if I've got the mohair, like I wouldn't
shave that.
Yeah, see, I've just grabbed a couple of these because I
Mm,
suddenly realized that I sent some of these images to Libby a while ago. But see,
mm,
like we've got, so if you were to combine these, say the sport weight in this
mm,
with a matching color, and I have, you could do something like flory,
Oh, that'd be heavenly.
which would be heavenly, and
Mm.
you will get little fluffs, and you'd want to use a stone on that. You wouldn't
Yeah,
want to use a
yeah. Don't
shader.
shave it off because you lose all
Yeah,
your fluff that you're trying to put in there.
yeah,
But certainly for the this base, for the Southlander base with these colors or any of this, the electric depiller is just magic.
yeah.
They just look brand new all over again.
Oh, and they're
They
so
don't really
good.
pill much. I mean, I don't, they're not pillars. This yarn doesn't really pill.
And
You
I've
get the beginning pills
and
just as
they're pluckable. Have you
yeah,
found that
yeah,
too? They're
you
quite
sit there and you can
pluckable.
just pull them
Yeah,
off, yeah. But that finishes after a period of time. That's just all the kind of excess coming out.
yeah,
But these garments they'll be like heirlooms. You
yeah.
pass them down the generation. That's what I'm hoping with stuff like this. This is, to me, this little floozy too, and this is in the sport weight yarn. And it's just one of those, when I see it on my daughter, you can just see that someone in the 70s could have put this on.
Mm.
Someone in 2050 will probably put it on. It's going to be one of those garments that you just wear forever. It's one of those classic kind of garments. So
Now, Karen's asking if upscaling fingering pattern with sport weight yarn, how would you adjust the quantity you buy? Meters, meters, meters.
Yeah, we've just actually done a little class on that in Wardrobe Toolbox. It was a really popular one about working out. We had sort of quick and dirty methods, and then I had a longer method with maths where we just plotted out the size of our garment. So you can do it more precisely if you work out exactly how big your new garment's going to be, and then go back to meters or weight. You can do it with weight, but you have to swatch if you're going to do it that way.
Yeah.
But Karen, another way to do it is just to go over to Ravelry and see if someone else has done something in sport and roughly how much are they using for the same size garment, and go with that. That's probably your quickest, dirtiest way of doing it.
Yeah. And if you're working, so a lot of fingering is usually roughly around that sort of 400 meters, 400 meter mark, particularly if it's a fine sort of alpaca or shrink treated. Whereas this at sport weight is for the same, you're looking at 300 meters as opposed to 400 meters. So it's a 25% difference. So you just need to buy 25% more. That's the rough.
And it's always better to have a little bit more. So you just another one. And honestly, for these, the price of these, I was thinking about that the other day. This is a really affordable garment. If you're thinking, even if you need 9 or 10 balls, that's in comparison to something else. This makes it really affordable because it's $9.95 a ball. So,
well, I was like, so I just finished a love note. Well, just finished a love note. No, I'm telling a huge big fat porky there. I did it over the summer, so that's like 6 months
that
ago.
was just
darling.
the other day.
It was just the other day.
Oh.
God, I've knitted so little this year. I've knitted a million swatches, but I've just anywho, I only used I think 6 for that.
Yeah.
And it's just so cheap, and then the Wayfarer, because the Wayfarer, that's what, sport or DK?
DK.
Yeah, so it says short sleeve version of that, you'd be what, 5 balls?
5 balls. I think I used 4 or 5, something like that.
It's
I can't
nothing.
remember. It is fantastic. And especially if you're knitting them for other people, like I'm knitting them for my kids, it's just, you don't feel like you're breaking the bank and got for these kids that are going to leave them on the bedroom floor. So, and that makes me feel happy to know that.
And the other thing too with yes, they're not machine washable. We know that.
No.
But what I can tell you, having cheated, because they are a firmer micron, so the finer the micron yarn, the more amenable to felting the yarn is. The more vigorous the yarn is, the less amenable. So I have to say, I have been known to put my Southlander yarns in the wool cycle. And
right. Have you got a top loader or a front loader?
I've got a front loader.
I think that makes a bit of a difference.
It does. It's a real pain in the ass when I have to do like felted slippers. I did some recently, both for me and my son, and I had some Southlander in there, and I had to wash those suckers 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was the Southlander that wasn't felting as readily as everything else, because the other stuff was finer and softer. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty hardiest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the wool cycles on those front loaders are generally okay, because you don't get all that, it doesn't get tangled up in the bottom of the agitator. And so I think it's a bit kinder. It's a bit kinder on your knitting. So you probably could. I still don't because I still panic. I have had accidents with front loaders though, where you realize that in there going around and there's the window and that's your jersey that was wrapped up in the washing and nobody realized.
Oh, you heard about my shawl incident?
No.
Earlier in the year. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was knitting it. So when I was at your place at the end of last year, you know how I was knitting that lovely Niata and it was in that beautiful Tasmanian merino. Remember that? Yeah. So I got so tired and did exactly that. Scooped a whole bunch of stuff off the washing machine and it went. And I could hear this clack, clack, clack in the machine. I'm thinking,
it was in it. Wow.
And it wasn't until I opened, I thought, why is my knitting and I saw the needle and it's so you know how it's literally now a triangle that's like that big.
Oh no.
17 micron Tasmanian merino.
Yeah, don't do that, everybody.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. But now the other thing too that I just wanted to say, because I know some people have sort of said with some of the shawls, you've been knitting a number of the shawl patterns up in this yarn, and because it is definitely more rustic. Now, one of the things, this is where the mohair treatment works really good. If you are a little sensy and you like it a wee bit softer, a sport with this Whisper Fine will take it to a DK. No worries whatsoever. But or you can actually interlace if there's so if you've got two different colors intermix with the mohair, and it's amazing how the mohair softens things up
and ties it all together. Be beautiful. See, I do have some that I wear, particularly my feathers. I have a feathers that I knitted in the it's in the sport weight scholar. Yeah, it's the grey. I love wearing that shawl because it feels so dramatic. It's a proper, warm, long, big, wrap it around my neck kind of thing, tie it in a big thing or just flick it over. I love wearing that. But I've got a few that are a little bit heavier that would really look great with some of the mohair thrown through, like Flindra. Or in fact, Flindra would be perfect because that's a really similar. It was the Outlaw yarn I used for that years ago. And the other one that I love that would look amazing in Southlander is Flux. You want to knit that one a little bit looser. It's an even bigger gauge.
Yeah.
But with the buttons, and then you button it all up and you sort of feel like you're wearing more of a poncho or more of a garment with that one.
So we've actually had a lot of people do Flux in the Kelly & Co tweed. So
that would be stunning. In fact, that is really similar because the original yarn is a bit of a tweed in it. Yeah. Yeah. That would be great. No, I don't know. I've just had a real hankering for robust farmy yarn and these really traditional knits lately.
This is probably one of our most tried on, and in fact, it needs a D-pill. It's been tried on so much. So this is Phoenix in the DK. This one is thrashed in store. It's the one people go to. And it's exactly what you're just talking about. Yeah. It's good. It's robust, but it's got a little bit of fun and flutation through the front.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be actually Phoenix. I totally forgot about Phoenix.
Yeah. Phoenix, and actually a lot of our customers too knit this without the colour work.
Oh, yes. I know. I've seen people do that. And because it's a great shape. Yeah.
It's an awesome shape.
Yeah. So if you wanted something that was similar to what I did originally, certainly these two are pretty bang on for the original colors, actually, if you wanted to swap that out for the DK.
And this is the other one we've got too. Good old Maree.
Oh, Maree. Yeah. Yeah. I wore Maree a lot when I was away.
Yeah.
But the other thing that really struck me when I was in a colder climate last week, because we really don't know. We're born in Auckland. I have to say it feels cold and it's damp and it rains all the time, but it's not that cold in comparison. But I was so warm. And I looked at my family who were dressed in lots of my knits and they were so warm. And it just felt amazing to know that you're cozied up, you're warm, it's freezing, your nose is cold and you're actually warm inside.
So Phil and I were away last week and as well, and we were in Mount Maunganui, which isn't that cold, but a cold snap and a storm came through. So I had packed knits too. And so I had a little supermarket bag with the knits I wanted to take. And I knitted for him the Limerick sweater in Kelly & Co. in the Ramore. But I also happened to have a Nanook cardigan in the same yarn. And I'd also packed that in a hat. And without realizing, we both went out and oh my God, we were twinning. It was so bad. I'm suddenly thinking people will be looking at us going, that is seriously tragic, because we're both out with our matching yarns and we were at an Irish pub for lunch. And I said to Phil, we are such cliches. Such cliches.
So funny, isn't it? We've done that many times. Yeah. It's hilarious. And then you produce the smaller twins, the batch of them that go down in size. Well, they're actually not
exactly.
But yeah.
Well, so just to remind everybody, both Embers cardigan and Wayfarer are both available, and those are available at Truly Myrtle.
Truly Myrtle. Yep. And Ravelry. So you can get pattern at Ravelry and Truly Myrtle. And the yarn you can get with Skeinz, or you can get at Truly Myrtle. And there are the 4 new colors. So I've got tons of all of the colors at the moment. Not actually, there's one I realized last night I need to get a bit more of. And you've got tons. And so you can go in and take your pick and just put things together and make some new combos. And I cannot wait to see what you do and the combination put together. And I bet you've thinking of things that we haven't even thought of yet. And the other thing I was going to say, when you mentioned hats, I find this warm. I find this easy to wear against my skin, this yarn. And in fact, I think they're getting softer, Maree, because this one, as I was knitting it, I was thinking this is like actually really quite soft. So there's some magic happening in the dye house, I think.
No, I know what the magic is.
What?
No, the magic was we had to go to a different fibre supplier because all the fibre that we had went sailing off on bales after Cyclone Gabrielle. So it's the same micron, but it's from a different supplier. So that's, I think, come from a different farm, and there is definitely, we noticed it too.
And it really is.
There is a slight handle difference.
Yeah. So it's not massive, but it's enough that I was thinking something different about this.
Yeah.
So I think hats, I wore a hat continuously. I actually took a couple of hats. I took my Kinner hat, which is a fingering hat, and I took my thinking cap. I don't have a thinking cap with me here, but thinking cap I knitted originally in Southlander, and it was like a worsted weight. It'd be perfect. Thinking cap would be perfect, and 2 of these put together in the DK as well. And if you're someone that isn't bothered by having not uber soft yarn next to your skin, if it's cold enough, I think it's easy to wear yarn no matter what it feels like. But yeah, I think the hats are quick and easy. And
I actually like hats in these yarns, and I tell you why, is that hats really, really quickly lose their shape and elasticity, whereas they hold I've got a lot of my hats in these yarns because they just hold their shape and they work a lot better. Love them.
There's lots to choose from, so you can go and have a little play with the hats.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it's been too long, so I'm going to send out a newsletter with all of this and some links where you can go and find what you need to find. But definitely, start dusting off some of your patterns. Have a little play around with the colours and just have fun with it. And remember, Libby's going to be coming to Cannes. There are still spaces available for Knit August Nights, knitaugustnights.co.nz. If you want to register for that, it isn't too late. So there you go.
I can't wait.
Right. Thank you, everybody. I will be back here on Monday. And with any luck, fingers crossed, I'll either have Ethan with me here on Monday or Thursday because, of course, we were away. And I'm dying to hear about the opening of Get Flocked.
Yeah. So, I've got to go and find him. I keep looking for him, and I need to figure out where he's hanging out now on this. All right. I'll catch you Monday. See you later, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.